Let's talk about outliers. An outlier is a value that is significantly lower or higher than the rest of the data set. Well, what does that really mean? How do you know if it's significantly lower or higher? Well, if a number falls outside the limits, then it's an outlier. So we can find the lower limit and the upper limit by using our interquartile range. So the lower limit is taking the first quadrant, or the first quartile, and subtracting 1.5 times the interquartile range. The upper limit, we take the third quartile and we add 1.5 times the interquartile range. So this is what we're working on. All right, let's do this. Use the data set to determine if outliers exist. So we have 6 numbers in our data set, and we need to first find our quartiles, right? Because that's part of finding the limits to see whether or not we have an outlier. All right, so we have 6 numbers. That means our Q2, our median, we find that first, is the average of our middle 2 numbers. So 21 plus 22 is 43. I divide that by 2, and I get 21.5. So my median is between 21 and 22 at 21.5. Now I'm ready to find my first quartile. So the median of the lower half, which is 18. And then I find the median of the upper half, which is 34. Okay, I like small data sets, a little easier to work with. So now we find our interquartile range. So IQR is Q3 minus Q1, which in this case is 16. So now let's find our lower limit. Okay, our lower limit, as we remember, is Q1 minus 1.5 times the interquartile range. So my Q1 is 18 minus 1.5 times 16. Well, when I do that, 1.5 times 16, so I multiply first. 1.5 times 16 gives us 24. So 18 minus 24 is negative 6. So if a number is negative 6 or lower, that would be an outlier. All right, now let's find our upper limit. Upper limit, as we remember, is Q3 plus 1.5 times the interquartile range. So 34 plus 1.5 times 16. Well, we know 1.5 times 16 is 24, so 34 plus 24 gives us 58. So we would need numbers less than negative 6 or greater than 58 in order to be outliers. You'll notice my smallest number is 2. My largest number is 36. So no, we have no outliers in this particular data set because they do not fall outside of the limits. All right, let's do one more. I have 4, 72, 74, 81, 86, 86, 87. So, determine outliers. So we need to find the quartile so that we can find our upper and lower limit. So we have an odd number here. We have 7 numbers. So my median is that one right in the middle. So Q2 equals 81. Median of the lower half, there's 3 numbers there. So the middle one here is 72. And the median of the upper half is the middle one, so Q3 is 86. Okay, so our interquartile range is 86 minus 72, which is 14. All right, let's find our lower limit. So again, Q1 minus 1.5 times the IQR. So Q1 is 72 minus 1.5 times 14. Well, 1.5 times 14 is 21, so 72 minus 21 gives me 51. So my lower limit is 51. Next, let's find our upper limit. So Q3 plus 1.5 times the IQR. So Q3 is 86 plus 1.5 times 14. Again, we know 1.5 times 14 is 21, so 86 plus 21 gives us 107. So we need a number less than 51 or bigger than 107. Well, if you look at our data set, 4 is way less than 51. So we do have an outlier, and that outlier is the number 4.